there's a scene in The Lord of the Rings where the group of 9 is in the mines of Moria, and then the Balrog appears. And the Balrog is considered as the ultimate demon, an ancient demon, the strongest demonic power on earth, hidden in those mines. And so the group of 9, they were running and running, and then they crossed this bridge. The bridge crossed a chasm. They crossed over, and Gandalf the Grey stood on the bridge and waited for the Balrog. He was protecting the group, and he held his staff, and he says, "You shall not pass." Like that is a sign of strength. And as the Balrog walked onto the bridge, he repeated again, "You shall not pass." And he struck his staff upon the bridge, and the bridge shattered. And then he and the Balrog fell into this chasm that just was kind of an endless fall. And in midair, they were battling, right? Gandalf the Grey and the demon. And somewhere at the towards the bottom, Gandalf slayed that demon. And he himself struck the bottom and died, and then later on was resurrected by Galadriel, and he became Gandalf the White. Now that story is so symbolic, so beautiful. Gandalf, with his courage, slayed the demon. The demon is the ego, fear incarnate. Destroyed, killed the demon. And then he was reborn as Gandalf the White. In other words, purified. His fear, he had conquered his fear. And so, in wizardry terms, in a sense, leveled up, became Gandalf the White, pure. And the more pure you are, the more power you have. If you're purified of your fears, then sort of even more magical things start to happen around you, because you have no fear. You're given power to wield. And so that's what happened with Gandalf. So he went from gray to white. It's interesting. And there is one more kind of aspect of that story, which was not included in the movies. I don't think I even watched all the movies just because I couldn't handle the violence, the scenes. It was too much. But at the beginning of those books, the hobbits met in the forest. This character named Tom Bombadil. And interesting enough, when I was a kid, before I even got interested in spiritual things, before I was even aware of what spiritual things were, my favorite character was Tom Bombadil. Did you ever read about him? Yeah. So So Frodo carries the Ring of Power, and the Ring of Power is considered like the most powerful object on Earth. Like if you hold the Ring of Power, then you can rule all the other 9 rings that are, and all the other rings on Earth that are made and connected with that ring. Well, the Dark Lord, as the supreme evil, owns this ring, and so whoever wears the ring gets consumed by the ring's power, and the ring's power includes all the evil traits: greed, anger, fear, like all this sort of like egoic qualities are in this ring. So if you even possess it or are near it, you're connected to that vibration. No one's unaffected by it. Even Gandalf refused to take that ring because he feared that it would take him over. That's how powerful it was. And so in the story of Tom Bombadil, they meet him. Tom Bombadil rescues them from this willow tree that swallowed the hobbits. It's a funny story. And then Tom Bombadil he's kind of like this sort of short, kind of a wizard-looking guy, big boots and stuff, with a hat, and very lighthearted and always singing. Always singing about the beauty of the forest, because he's connected to all the animals. All the animals are sort of, you could say, obeying him, but in a good way. Like they want to serve him. So when they get over to his house, the deer are serving him wine, or whatever, foods, and all the animals are preparing the food. And then Goldberry also, which is the wife, who's considered also is quite divine, and she's like the sweetest, happiest woman on earth. So here they are, this sort of, we'll call it divine couple. And then suddenly, while the hobbits are sitting down and eating with Tom Bombadil says to Frodo, "Show me the ring. Can I see the ring?" And Frodo's like, "What? How did you know I even had?" Because he didn't even mention that he had the ring. So kind of reluctantly, Frodo takes the ring from his pocket and gives it to Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil takes the ring lightly, looks over it, puts it on his finger, and he doesn't turn invisible. Now that moment itself showed that Tom Bombadil had transcended all evil, that there was nothing on earth, that no evil, no ego that could possibly touch him, or he was even beyond the ring. He didn't turn invisible, whereas all the other creatures or people who would wear that ring would turn invisible. He was not. So, interesting. And he takes it off and gives it right back to Frodo, as if nothing had happened, like it was no big deal, right? And then, of course, later on, Frodo was like, "What? Is this still the ring? Is this the same ring that I found, that I was given?" So he tries it on. Frodo puts the ring on later on while they're eating or talking, and he disappears, and all the hobbits are looking blankly at him, like, where did he go? And Frodo's trying to walk out the back door, and Tom Bombadil goes, "Hey, Frodo, come back here. Stop playing around." Why? Because he could see where Frodo was, because the ring did not blind him. You see, normally a person is blinded by their ego. They can't see. They can't see because the fears are so deep that all you can really feel and see and react in life is to fear. So mostly we're getting a job, or we're trying to please a person, we're doing this. It's so much of it is out of fear and not out of true heart love. So many of our decisions. That's why I'm saying, like, how do you free yourself of all that? So being that Tom Bombadil was free of fear and free of ego and free of sorrow, the ring had absolutely no effect on him.